Hello everyone, today I'm going to teach you how to do a VOSOT, everything from how to put it into Premiere, how to edit it together, and how to write the story in Inception. So what we want to do first is go ahead and pull open Safari. Now whenever you get to Safari, you're going to type into the little search bar inception.mtsu.edu. That will take you to this site right here. If you have a login, go ahead and enter your login, but if you don't, you can go ahead and enter MT10 as the username and MT10 news as the password. Now that brings up a whole window here that has a ton of stuff going on. So let's go ahead and exit out of all of these stories. And it should look a little bit like this. So you're going to go to your rundown for your specific night. So right now it's on Wednesday night. And whenever you go to write your script for your story, you're either going to find an open box or you're going to go ahead and click on a box, go to create story up here, hit broadcast, and it creates a new empty box. So once you have your new empty box and you want to create that for your VOSOT, go ahead and name it whatever you want to name it. Today we're going to name it Therapy Dog. And for the segment, I'm going to enter VOSOT because I have video for the voiceover and a SOT for the interview. You're also going to fill in the writer. So my name is Katie, so I'm going to go ahead and write Katie in here. And we can worry about the estimated time and media time, total time, back time, everything like that in just a little bit. So you're going to go ahead and double click on your script. And it's pulled open now. So what you're going to do first of all, whenever you write any story, you want to go ahead and give a production cue. So since this is a VOSOT and the anchor is going to start off reading it, we're just going to click on Anchor 1. The producers can fill out who specifically is going to be reading this story later. And then we're going to hit enter, and then right below Anchor 1, we're going to fill out the camera. So for Anchor 1, we usually do, well, you can really pick any camera. I'm going to pick camera 3 for a one shot because it's just going to be on one person. Now you're going to start writing your script. So I'm not going to write an actual script, but you get the idea. So I'm just going to write a therapy dog visited, well, I did not spell that right, visited MTSU earlier this week. So usually your lead sentence needs to be more punchy than that and more interesting and more enticing than that, but I just typed that to sort of get you in the mind of how the script should look. There are also some templates at the bottom of every single rundown, so you can always refer to those as well. So whenever you go down to the bottom here, you can just go ahead and click on the, let's see, where is it? Template for a VOSOT we'll go ahead and click on. So it tells you everything. A lead sentence is punching, catches the viewer's attention, helps the viewer get the gist of the story without giving it all away, should have minimal facts, it should be written between 8 and to 10 seconds. And then you're going to do your next production cues. So your lead sentence should just, of course, be one sentence. And then you're going to go ahead and come over here to production cues, and you're going to select take VO because that's where you want your video to start. So once you say take VO, all the rest of the stuff you're going to write in these next few sentences are going to include what's going to be read by the anchor over your video. So you're just going to write this out. So you could really write anything. So this should be anywhere from, this whole VOSOT should be anywhere from 30 to 45 seconds, somewhere in there. But really just write enough to, tell your story, but don't go into too much detail. You can go back to the template here. And after it says take VO, it says this is the body of our story. This is where we write all the facts and the details about what happened or what's going to happen. This includes all the who, what, where, when, why, and hows of a story. A VOSOT story should be written between 40 and 50 seconds long. The edited video for a VO story should be at a minimum of 40 seconds long. Your video drives your writing, which drives your editing. Your video should include natural sounds. So After you figure out, what all you got on video, that's whenever you're going to write your script like we're doing right now. And it should be, a few lines long, blah, blah, blah. And then after you've said all that you want to say over your video, you're going to go ahead and come back up here to the production cues. And this is where you're going to signal the director where to take your SOT. So we're going to go ahead and say take SOT. Of course, SOT stands for sound on tape or sound over tape. And we are going to have that right here in the script. Right here where it says TRT, a colon, and then 2 question marks is where you're going to put the length of your SOT. Of course, we don't know that right now, so we're just going to leave that blank for now. And then the out cue right here where it has all the question marks, that's where you're going to put in the last 3 words that the person says that's being interviewed. And then right here is where you're going to write out what the person actually says while they're talking. So you're going to hit SOT and it's going to start typing in green. So whenever you actually are typing out a SOT, it can be in all lowercase letters if you want it to. So I'm just going to write out, I love pups. Well, that should be in all green, so you can, of course, highlight that. Select SOT right here, and then that will make it all green. So whenever it's all green, that just lets the anchor know that they should not read this part and that this is part of the video. So then after that's all done, and you filled out your out cue and everything like that, if you have a VOSOT VO, which means you have more video after your interview, you're going to come up here to production queue and you're going to say continue VO right here. But if you do not, then you're just going to go ahead and write your closing things. So we would really write like a call to action, like you can see the dog next week. So obviously it'd be better than that, but just for time purposes, I'm just going to write that. So then that should be about 1 sentence long, and the anchor will be reading this part too. So don't forget to save your story whenever you are typing it. That's the best way to prevent it from getting lost. So we've got it all saved and everything like that. Now we're actually going to open up Premiere. So Premiere is what we use to edit our videos. And once you select it, it'll take a little bit. It'll bounce up and down here for a second. And this little Superman guy will pop up. All right, and then once this window pops up, you're going to select New Project. And this is where you're going to name your story. So I'm going to name mine Therapy Dog. Okay, so then you're going to select the location where it should end up. So I went to Browse, and I'm going to go to my hard drive right here. And once I've selected my hard drive, I'm going to say Choose. You're going to go to your scratch disks as well and make sure that they are all set to your hard drive. My hard drive's name is Toshiba EXT, so we are all good here. I'm going to hit OK. And that opens up a whole new workspace here. So what you want to do first is import some media. So you can double click on this box right here, go up to File and say Import Media. Anyway really works. I am going to scroll down to where it says Therapy Dog. This is where all of my footage is that I'm going to be using for my story. I shot all this last year, so it's kind of old, but it still works. And we just wait for that to import. All right, now you have all of your clips. So what you're going to do, you're going to start out with an establishing shot. So for me, the establishing shot could be this shot of the library at night because this is where the therapy dog was, or it could even be this right here. But I think I'm going to start with this one. So you basically pick whatever clip you want to start with. This one's a very wide shot, so I'm going to start with here because it sort of shows you, where the event is happening. And once you find a piece of the clip that you want to use, you're going to hit just the letter I for in, and that's up here in this source window up here. And it pops up here whenever you double click the clip. And I'm going to let that run for a little bit and then hit O for out. So once you have your little clip here, you can just go ahead and grab the video and drag it down to your timeline or your sequence. Okay, so now you can see it here. If you want it to make it bigger, you can just grab this square right here on this black slider and slide it over to the left, and you can see it a little better. Also, if you want to see your clips, you can just use this little doohickey right here and drag it up. Let's drag it up a little bit farther, and you can see like what's going on in here. You can do the same thing for your audio waves too, and you can see how they're doing. So we're just going to leave it like that. So next, I think I want to do another shot a little bit closer up to the library. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit I where this guy is walking, let him finish walking, hit O. And I'm going to drag this down to the timeline as well. So, of course, everything that you put in the timeline should go along with what your script says. So, more than likely, I'm going to start off the script, with something about like, Canyon the therapy dog visited the James E. Walker Library, and oh look, you're seeing the library on your screen. So you should really aim for that. You should aim for your video to match your writing. So now that you've watched it all through, you're going to adjust the audio now. So the easiest way that I learned how to do for, nat sound that you just want playing under your B-roll while the anchor is talking over your video is to highlight all of your footage here like I just did. I just grabbed somewhere on the timeline that didn't have video, and I just created a box. I lassoed it all in and highlighted it all, but I only want to deal with the audio. So I went ahead and locked the video track just by hitting this blue lock right here. So yeah, I'm locking and unlocking it. Once it has the lines on it, you know it's locked. And all of the audio is selected. So I'm just going to go ahead and right click on the audio, and I'm going to go to audio gain. So I'm going to go to normalize max peak to, and I'm going to go ahead and say negative 30 decibels for the nat sound. So the sound is still there, but you can't hear it very loudly like you would want to whenever you were doing an interview and things like that. So yeah. All right, so once you think that your video is looking good and you have it all adjusted, you can come up here to File, say Export, go to Media, and then this cute little box will pop up. Your format, you want it to be QuickTime. Your preset, you want to go ahead and set it to HD 1080i 29.97 H.264 AAC 48 kilohertz. And then for your output name, always make sure you fill this out, because if you don't, sometimes you can't find your video. So you're going to name it exactly what you named your story. So it's going to be called Therapy Dog. And since this is the VO part, I'm going to put a VO after that name. And I want to save it to my hard drive. So I'm just going to click on my hard drive there, say save, and then you can go ahead and select export. So then it will start exporting. So once that's done, you can go ahead and start working on your SOT or your interview. So we're going to come up here and say new sequence. And we are going to go to AVC HD, 1080i, go ahead and hit 60i, and then we're going to name it Therapy Dog SOT. Okay. Alrighty, so now for the SOT, we're going to use interview, which was right here. So we're not going to pick out a certain thing that she said. We're just going to look where she sort of starts talking, and I'm going to pick that. Okay, so once you find the clip that you love, you're going to go ahead and drag it down here. Okay. Alright, so your SOT should always be between like 7 to 12. She starts talking right about here. So this SOT, let's see, let's make it like 12 seconds. Okay, so once you've got like your 12-second SOT here, what you're going to do, let's make it a little bigger. You're going to add something called pad to it. So you're just going to take this right here. You're going to drag it down the timeline just a little bit. I don't like to give very much pre-roll, but just enough. So at this point, you're going to lock your audio track and you're going to drag out your video. So I just hit the little blue lock right here, and I was able to grab the video part and drag it on. So now you have video where you don't have audio, and this will be the part where whenever the director takes the video, if it doesn't play automatically, it'll be okay. We won't miss anything that she says. So, yes. And then at the very end, if you don't have video at the end, you're just going to lock the audio once again, and you're going to drag the video out for a little bit longer too, just so it doesn't do a freeze frame or anything like that. But if you do video at the end, you will have to lock your audio. Take that back. And then what you would do is just select clips that you want. So I'm just using the same clips that I used for my VO for the sake of time, but please don't do that. Please use new clips if you are going to do a VO-SOT-VO. But please note that the VO and the SOT should be on different sequences. They should not be on the same sequence. As you can probably see over here, this little audio leveler thing, you just want to go ahead and play your SOT, and you can see how it's very uneven while she's talking. I mean, one of them is really high and then another one's really low. Well, I have a way to fix that. So what you're going to do is you're going to go, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these video clips, but you're going to go ahead and lock your video. You're going to highlight your audio right there. You're going to right click on that and say copy. You're going to take your blue scrubber thing all the way to the end past where your video is, and then you're going to right click. Or you can do Command V to paste. And then you're going to drag that right underneath your other audio tracks so they align perfectly. But the reason for this is the sub microphones, they record in mono instead of stereo. So it only shows up as one audio track. And what we basically just did was we doubled it. So now you're going to select both of those audio tracks, right click. Then you're going to say audio channels. And then we're going to adjust both of these to right. So all of the check marks should be in the right-hand column. And then whenever you play it, you can see they are on the same exact level now. And then all you've got to do is adjust the sound or the volume that they play at. So you're just going to highlight those, right-click, say audio gain. We're going to say normalize max peak to, and then we're going to say -12. Say OK. And that's louder than natural sound. And it should be the sound that you hear the interview. So then after that, you can either choose to do more video or you can choose to do the pad like we did before. So then same deal, you're going to File, Export Media, go to Format QuickTime. We're going to do this one as 1080i 29.97, And this one is a therapy dog SOT. So we're going to export that. Okay, so now that we have both of those videos exported, we're going to go ahead and exit out of Premiere Pro. Go ahead and say save before closing. And now we are going to go back into the script, and you can pull up the videos that you just exported. So I'll go to my hard drive, and I will look for the files that say therapy dog. So here are both of my files. I'm going to go ahead and just double click on both of them and open them up. And at this, I like to do this so that I can just make sure my script matches my video. You know, you need to do that while you're editing your video too. You shouldn't wait until just now, but you should practice reading it along with your video. Also, this helps me because I'm able to play the SOT and write down exactly what she says right here. So you would write down word for word what she said through here and then her last words. So I'm just going to write some. And then the length of this SOT was 12 seconds. So I'm just going to put after the colon a 12 since it did last 12 seconds. Okay, and then of course if you did VO or video after the SOT, you would say continue VO from the production queue. But if you didn't, you just go ahead and jump right back in here. You don't have to put anchor or anything like that. But one important thing that you do need to remember to do is to add a lower third for your interview. So I like to do it after the SOT. I just come up here to production queue, go to lower third under graphic, and then this is where you're going to tell who the heck it is that you're interviewing. So right here where it says top line and then in parentheses caps, you're going to type that person's name. So let's say her name is Jane Doe. We're going to type that in all caps. And then the bottom line, that tells like who they are or why they're important. So I'm just going to put dog owner, and this should be in title case, which means that, you know, the first letter of the word should be capitalized, but not the whole thing. And then I'm going to say take super at 000 because we want it to be taken at the beginning of the interview. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. And that is such an important step that a lot of people forget, but it's really important to give people credit. So once you feel like your story has come along pretty nicely, you can go ahead and save it right here, and you can go ahead and X out. Okay, so now that it's in the rundown right here, we've got it. You're going to go ahead and adjust your time. So the estimated time is the time that you think it'll take to read the story, and the total time is the amount of time that it's going to be all together. So you will have to time yourself. I really recommend timing yourself because sometimes the scripting software lies. It's not really 30 seconds. If it says 30 seconds, sometimes it's longer, but you've just really got to do that yourself. And then your producer will go through and fill out all of the other stuff. So I hope that this was very informational, and I hope that this answered a lot of your questions. Okay, thank you.